Now we're going to do the stamens and the little pollen ball on the end. Honest to goodness. So I'm going to pick up my run line tool, press my numeral 3 key and lay a node up as far as there. Give it a bit of shape. Tell it generate stitches. Click off that. And now I'm going to pick up my fill tool and I can't quite make up my mind whether to do that as a solid ball or something else. But I'm going to put my node in there. And I'm coming up to shape, ellipse 4 element, and get it wrong as usual. She's not quite round enough. So I'm going to press my control key. And control key makes a circle. Tell that to elements. Tell that finish object. And I want to rotate it. The trouble is I don't know by how much, so I need to right click into there, turn that, move it, go into edit. Oh, and look at that, I was so nearly on it. Finish. And just move it very slightly. It doesn't want to let me do that. Edit. Close enough, I think. Now, will I get away with auto column? Generate stitches. Let's take a look. Yes. Okay, so that's that bit done. So go back to normal, come off that, hit my numeral, oh, sorry, go and pick up a tool first, my run line tool, my numeral 3 key, and now I want to go to sample and pick up which I think these are the wrong way round. And come down here and meet up with him. And move these nodes and tell that generate. Yeah, and it's gone the wrong way. Parameters. Mirror. Apply. No. Well, I can't have that. So let's look for something else. Chain stitch. think the chain stitch is going to be a bit big. Oh yes, enormously big. And 2mm is too small, it's going to make too tight a stitch. Red work. Generate. I'll have to go into 3D to look at that. All it's done is given me a slightly heavier stitch. Not entirely happy with that. Parameters, sketch, apply. That's better. It's given me a sort of split stitch. Generate and click off. Go back into normal. Now there is a little gap here which tells me I'm going to get a trim code that I don't want. Create connection. I don't normally like using create connection in Embird, but it's going to be a very small stitch, and it's so small as to be negligible, but if I don't include it, if I try to stitch this on my big machine, I'll end up in trouble. So I click my numeral 3 key. There's my first node. I go up to the ball. I generate that. I can pick up my fill tool, put my one node, press my numeral 3 key, go up to shape, ellipse 4 point. It'd be just as easy for me to have gone boom, 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 boom. So I think I might even do that. Yeah, I'll tell that stop. I'll just go and pick up that. The fill tool, that is. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it beyond where I want it to go, slide it back onto that first one, and then move my nodes so they make a circle. And to change my angle, I depress my P key on my keyboard, and I want my angle to go straight across, and I tell that generate stitches. I go into parameters and I tell it auto column, apply, and if I didn't know better I'd say it absolutely changed the angle. Edit. No. I want to swirl these out a bit. Doesn't look like much of a circle. Oh. Generate. Now it's definitely changed the angle. And I don't want the angle changed. Parameters. cancel, edit. There it is. So hold down my P key and move that around to that point until that generates stitches. No, it doesn't want to play with me. It wants its own angle. I don't want it to have its own angle. But I'll give in gracefully. And I'm going to pick up my run line tool and I tell it I want sketch. I press my numeral 3 key and I drop that down to there until that generates stitches. Click off, go and pick this up, my run line tool that is, numeral 3 key, down to this point, just give it a teeny bit of a shape, out to that point, give it a bend, until that generates stitches. Then go and pick up my tool again and watch this argue with me. Auto column, numeral 3 key, one, oh, get in there, 2, 3, 1 beyond where I want it to go, and sort these out. Give me as close as to a circle as I can create. Until that generates stitches. Yeah, I'll settle for that. I need to edit this. It's a most untidy looking circle. Really is. Generate. Ah, each time you go in and edit it, it changes its angle. Okay, back down to my tool, my run line tool, tell it I want sketch, press my numeral 3 key, drop it down to here, give it a curve, tell it generate stitches. Click off, and now let's take a look at that in 3D. There we go. There's our 3 pollen balls. Let's reduce the scale a bit. The flower, the run line going up through the vein, the main stem, and our 3 pollen balls. This doesn't look much like parameters. Sketch, minimum length 1.4, maximum length, width 0.4. No, I want it a bit wider than that, sunshine. 0.6, I think. Okay, no wonder it didn't look much like a split stitch. Apply. And now let's look at that close up. And I can't. Generate. That's a teeny bit wider. Okay. And I don't want to go into the next object until I have discussed what I want do next, and that's to use a couple of our motif fills in our leaves and then create an outline from the fill. So we've got a mixture of styles, if you like, within the folk design, and it will be quite authentic because quite a few of the European folk designs did use stitches from what we would now call blackwork, along with satin stitch, stem stitch, chain stitch, quite happily, because they weren't traditionalists. They were simply people who wanted to brighten up the clothing, and if they saw Mrs. What's-her-face next door using a particular stitch and thought, well, actually that looks quite pleasant, I might borrow that, they did it with no thoughts of, well, it's not my stitch so I can't use it, or it's not the style for our region. And eventually what would happen was everybody in the village would sort of all cotton onto this one particularly nice stitch, and they'd all use it. And of course nowadays people look at folk embroidery and say, oh no, it can't be so-and-so region because it hasn't got this in or it hasn't got that in. That was maybe because nobody in one particular village had seen that stitch yet, because otherwise, believe you me, they would have had it. Okay. Now that I don't need to, my mouse is scrolling again. For the zoom, that is. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.